Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. When news broke that Jonnu Smith had been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, fans didn't just raise eyebrows, they nearly dropped their phones. In a blockbuster move that saw Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu heading to Miami, in exchange for superstar safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. It was clear the NFL offseason had no plans of slowing down. But the real headline for Steelers Nation wasn't just the deal, it was the reaction. Jonnu Smith, never one to shy away from the spotlight, responded the only way a true baller would, with a cinematic hype video that screamed new chapter, new energy. Posted on his Instagram, the clip is a full-on declaration that he's all in with Pittsburgh. Dramatic music, slow-mo shots of Acrisure Stadium, and those iconic terrible towels waving like they're summoning a new era. It's straight goosebumps. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. This is the best news for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. The minute-long video is more than just flash and filters, it's a signal. A signal that Jonnu Smith isn't coming to Pittsburgh to warm a bench or collect a check. He's coming with purpose. Layered with media soundbites and headlines hyping the Steelers' off-season power plays. The video is a statement of intent, as clips roll of Jonnu breaking tackles, making clutch catches, and flexing in the end zone. It's impossible not to feel the energy, and right when the video hits its emotional peak, Smith himself jumps in with some heartfelt words. I think any competitor, any true competitor, should never be able to say I made it, he says. That's the mindset that's brought him this far, the drive that won't let him get comfortable, the grit that's about to ignite a fanbase starving for playoff wins. This isn't just a transfer. This is a mission, and let's talk about that mission. Because for the Steelers, the goal is clear: end the drought. Pittsburgh hasn't tasted postseason glory in what feels like forever. And bringing in Smith is more than just adding a piece, it's setting the tone. After the departure of George Pickens and a reshuffling of their receiver corps, the Steelers knew they needed versatility. Enter Jonnu Smith, a tight end who doesn't just block or run routes, he creates mismatches. Defensive coordinators are already sweating thinking about how to cover both Smith and Pat Freiermuth in double tight sets. And with Aaron Rodgers now under center in the Steel City, the possibilities are endless. Rodgers loves his tight ends. And with Smith's speed, strength, and experience, he might just become a reliable red zone target Rodgers has been missing since his Packers days. Chemistry could happen fast, and that's dangerous for everyone else. But let's not forget the backstory here. Because Jonnu Smith's 2024 season with the Dolphins was nothing short of spectacular. We're talking career highs across the board. 88 receptions, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Numbers that scream Pro Bowl, numbers that make you wonder, why was he even on the trading block? Simple: money. Smith was only set to earn $4.09 million this year, and after putting up those stats, he knew his worth. So, he sat out minicamp, waiting for either a raise or a new home. The Dolphins weren't willing to budge, and that opened the door for the Steelers to strike. Pittsburgh saw the value, saw the opportunity, and made it happen. And now, Smith lands in a city that doesn't just love its football, it lives for it. A city that appreciates grit, heart, and hustle. And he's bringing all three. One of the most exciting parts of this move is the reunion no one's talking enough about. Jonnu Smith and Arthur Smith, together again. This isn't their first rodeo. These to go way back to the Tennessee Titans days, where Arthur was not just the tight ends coach, but later the offensive coordinator. He knows Jonnu's game inside out, how to use him, where to put him, how to let him shine. Their connection was tight in Tennessee, and it only grew stronger during their brief time in Atlanta. When Jonnu was shipped to the Falcons in 2023, it wasn't random, it was part of a system that believed in him. And now, with Arthur calling plays in Pittsburgh, don't be surprised if we see some creative sets, motion plays, and tight end heavy packages designed to exploit defenses that simply can't cover everyone. This is chess, not checkers. So what does the offense actually look like now? Well, if you're a Steelers fan, brace yourself for a whole lot of 12 personnel. That's the tight ends on the field at once, and with Freiermuth and Smith both healthy and hungry, it's going to be a nightmare for linebackers and safeties. You've got the big, athletic targets who can block, run routes, and open up the middle of the field. Add Najee Harris in the backfield and Aaron Rodgers slinging the rock, and suddenly, this offense feels unpredictable again. With George Pickens now out of the picture, the team's lack of depth at wide receiver actually becomes an advantage. It forces defenses to guess. Are they running? Are they passing? Is it a bootleg? A screen? Good luck figuring it out, Arthur. Smith has the toys. Now it's time to see what kind of masterpiece he builds. But beyond the X's and O's, beyond the hype videos and roster shakeups, this move just feels right. Jonnu Smith is the kind of player Pittsburgh fans fall in love with: tough, physical, and deeply motivated. He's not flashy for the sake of being flashy. He grinds. He earns every yard. And his words in that video weren't just motivational, they were authentic. Continuing to fill those voids that's missing in my game, that's what keeps me pushing, he said. That's the mentality of someone who isn't done yet, someone who sees a new challenge, a new city, a new quarterback, and says, let's get to work. It's that blue-collar edge, that chip on the shoulder, that makes the Steelers such a dangerous team when they're clicking. And with Smith, they might be clicking sooner than anyone expects. Let's also give credit to the front office for pulling the trigger here. Getting rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick wasn't easy. He's one of the best safeties in the league, but trading talent for talent is how great teams stay competitive, and when you look at the full picture, this deal made sense. They strengthened their offense, added chemistry between coordinator and tight end, and gave Aaron Rodgers another trusted weapon. And let's not overlook Jalen Ramsey's part in all this. Ramsey going to Miami was huge, yes, but it was also a sign that Pittsburgh is reshaping its identity. More aggressive, more dynamic, more unpredictable. That's not a rebuild, it's a pivot. A calculated move to give this team the jolt it's needed for years. If the execution matches the planning, don't be shocked if this team is playing deep into January and maybe even February. Of course, none of this matters if it doesn't translate on the field. And that's where Jonnu Smith's next chapter truly begins. Training camp will be the first test. Building chemistry with Rodgers, learning Arthur Smith's evolved playbook, and finding his role in a locker room full of new faces. But if his hype video is any indication, he's already locked in. This isn't just a fresh start. It's a challenge accepted, and for a player like Jonnu, who thrives when people count him out, that's exactly where he wants to be. The fans are ready. The coaches are excited. The pieces are in place. Now it's about execution, drive, and proving that this wasn't just a flashy trade, it was the move that redefined a franchise. So Steelers Nation, get your terrible towels ready. A new season is coming, and Jonnu Smith just might be the heartbeat of it. In the end, Jonnu Smith's arrival in Pittsburgh is more than a headline. It's a story about timing, ambition, and belief. Belief that a player still has more to give. Belief that a team can turn the page. Belief that when the right people come together, magic can happen. Smith said it best: I'm just thankful, blessed, and you can feel it. This isn't just a guy cashing in on a good year. This is a seasoned pro who knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. And he's walking into a city that's built for exactly that. The journey ahead won't be easy. The AFC is stacked, and every game will feel like a playoff battle. But Pittsburgh just added one of the most driven, battle-tested tight ends in football. And when January rolls round, that might be the piece everyone wishes they had. Welcome to the Steel City. Jonnu, still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing with excitement, disbelief, and anticipation as Odell Beckham Jr., one of the most electrifying wide receivers of his generation, is reportedly heading to Miami. Yes, you heard that right. Multiple sources close to the situation suggest that OBJ has inked a rapid-fire deal with the Miami Dolphins, sending shockwaves through the league just weeks before training camp kicks off. While the Dolphins have yet to officially confirm the signing, insiders claim the agreement happened in the blink of an eye, catching even the most seasoned analysts off guard. Fans are scrambling for details, trying to figure out how this came together so quickly and what it means for Miami's already potent offensive arsenal. It's not every day a team adds a player with OBJ's resume, flair, and headline-grabbing presence. And now, the Fins might be looking at a whole new level of firepower on offense. This move, if finalized as reported, changes the entire dynamic of the AFC East. We're talking about a division already loaded with talent, rivalries, and storylines. But adding Beckham Jr. to the Dolphins mix, that might tilt the scales in Miami's favor in a big way. Tua Tagovailoa, who had a breakout year in 2023, now potentially has another lethal weapon at his disposal. Pairing OBJ with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle gives Miami a receiving corps that could legitimately be the fastest and most explosive in the entire NFL. And let's not forget Mike McDaniel's creative play calling, which thrives on speed, motion, and misdirection. Beckham's route running and big play ability could be the final ingredient in this already potent offensive recipe. Rumors have it that the Dolphins front office moved swiftly and quietly to land Beckham before other suitors could even get in the mix, but this isn't just about adding talent. It's about making a statement. The Dolphins, for years considered a team with potential but lacking killer instinct, now appear to be going all in. Remember, OBJ is not just a player, he's a brand, a media magnet, and a veteran with Super Bowl pedigree. This is a signal to the league. Miami is not here to play nice, they're here to win. Beckham brings swagger, experience, and a sense of urgency. While he's had ups and downs in his career, from that unforgettable one-handed catch in New York to the injury setbacks in Cleveland, and the comeback attempt with the Rams and Ravens, his hunger for a championship has never wavered. Insiders say Miami sees this as the perfect moment to capitalize on OBJ's motivation and use his veteran presence to elevate a young, talented locker room that's still chasing playoff consistency. Of course, this raises questions. What does this mean for Miami's existing receiver room? Is this a sign the Dolphins aren't fully confident in Cedric Wilson Jr. or Braxton Berrios as their depth options? Could this be the beginning of a bold shift in how the team structures its passing game? With Beckham in the lineup, there's a potential shift in targets, formations, and overall offensive philosophy. Reports indicate that Mike McDaniel is already drawing up new concepts. Eager to see how OBJ fits into his system, Beckham's versatility allows him to play outside or in the slot, opening up countless options for the Dolphins' high-octane attack. And while there's always risk in adding a player with OBJ's injury history, sources suggest that the Dolphins' medical team did a thorough check and felt confident in his current condition. Behind the scenes, whispers say this deal came together over the course of just 48 hours. Beckham, who had been weighing offers from several contenders, was reportedly impressed with Miami's culture, weather, and perhaps most importantly, their quarterback. Tua's recent growth and leadership have made Miami a more attractive destination for free agents. One source close to this situation claims OBJ reached out to Tua directly, and the two had a lengthy conversation about chemistry, roles, and expectations. That conversation might have been the tipping point. OBJ wants to win, but he also wants to feel valued, used creatively, and challenged. The Dolphins apparently checked all those boxes, and now the league waits to see how this new dynamic unfolds on the field when the season kicks off. But let's not forget, this is still the NFL, and hype only gets you so far. Beckham will have to prove he's still got that elite level burst, separation, and hands that made him a household name. Training camp will be critical. If he clicks with Tua early and shows flashes of his old self, Miami could be sitting on one of the best value pickups of the offseason. Insiders are already noting how motivated OBJ has looked during private workouts, slimmed down, explosive, off the line, and laser-focused. Some even whisper he's got a revenge tour mindset going into 2025, eager to remind everyone just how dangerous he can be. And make no mistake, the Dolphins are giving him that platform. It's now up to Beckham to seize it and reignite his career in South Beach. The locker room dynamic is also going to be fascinating to watch. Tyreek Hill is already one of the loudest voices in the NFL, both on and off the field. Waddle brings a quieter confidence, but is no less competitive. Now, throw OBJ into that mix. A proven alpha with a strong personality. Will it create chemistry or friction? Can they share the spotlight, or will egos eventually clash? Sources suggest Coach McDaniel has already had one-on-one talks with all parties involved to ensure alignment. He reportedly believes that competition will only sharpen the group. Still, anytime you add a star with OBJ's media presence, you risk shifting the locker room balance. The Dolphins are betting big that this group is mature enough to handle the spotlight together and thrive under it. Social media has exploded with fan reactions. Dolphins Twitter is already imagining OBJ touchdowns at Hard Rock Stadium, while skeptics wonder if this is another flash-in-the-pan signing. But what's undeniable is the excitement. Jerseys are already being mocked up by fans, with OBJ and No. 3 trending among mock-ups. Beckham's agent has declined to comment, but sources say marketing teams are already planning rollouts and appearances, anticipating a surge in attention and sales. It's not just about football. It's about spectacle, and Beckham delivers that in spades. If the Dolphins were looking to make a splash on and off the field, they've nailed it. All signs point to OBJ arriving in Miami very soon for his physical and official signing. possibly followed by a press conference that's sure to draw national eyes. Now, let's talk strategy. With Beckham in the fold, Miami could deploy even more complex route trees and spread sets, stretching defenses to their absolute limit. Defensive coordinators around the league are already whispering concerns about how to cover Hill, Waddle, and Beckham simultaneously. Do you double Hill and leave OBJ in single coverage? Do you play zone and hope for the best? It's a matchup nightmare if Beckham stays healthy. Miami may have created a modern-day version of the greatest show on turf, updated for the speed and spacing of today's game. Reports suggest McDaniel wants to test these ideas immediately in preseason, not just to build timing, but to send a message. That message? The Dolphins are no longer building, they're ready. Right now. In the end, time will tell if this move delivers the results fans are dreaming of. But make no mistake, the buzz is real. Odell Beckham Jr. in a Dolphins uniform is more than just a jersey swap. It's a moment, a chance for both player and team to redefine their narratives. For OBJ, it's a shot at legacy and redemption. For Miami, it's a bold push toward a title run in an increasingly competitive conference. Whether it's a masterstroke or a gamble, everyone will be watching. Because when Beckham steps onto that field in aqua and orange, all eyes turn to South Beach. And in a league built on moments, this one feels like it could be legendary. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!